They were the court of last resort. Whatever Uncle George said was gospel, and that was it. The argument was over. But when Uncle George died in '66, did George die in '66 or '64? No, '66, because Pam was 3 years old.
I don't know.
Right, yeah. George died in '66. This is Martha, my sister.
Oh my God, he looked like his dad. He looks exactly like him. Oh my God, you look like your father. Does everybody say that?
Oh, they did, yeah.
Yeah,
My son
hi.
looks a little like me.
Hi.
That's it, Miles, and that's
Miles?
yep.
Nice to meet
Named
you.
after-
I'm Anna.
named
Anna,
after
nice
my
to
year.
meet
So anyway,
How old are you, Miles?
13.
Oh wow,
When
you have
George-
a young one.
when
Are you
George
the baby? Oh,
Shut up.
that's why we never met you.
Well,
When
I
George
came up
hit-
here a few times.
Really?
I was
Oh,
probably
nice.
busy, yeah. When George died, they turned the town of Nyack turned out. The whole town.
Really?
He was that program. Yeah.
Doing the
book-
reminiscing
And-
Yeah. The book
All the
with
cousins worked for. Did you ever work for George or not?
I worked for George.
everybody.
In Nyack,
summer.
I know Libby and Dora worked for George. I don't know if Sid Freibush did.
No.
Oh,
No.
Elliot, you look just like your dad. Oh, it's incredible.
And you
Your
know, both
dad's
of you
smile.
kind of resemble him too, so I'm
Yeah.
thinking, you
Yeah,
know,
we all look alike, yeah. Did you know Aunt Sarah
Well, actually,
well?
the other time I met
Aunt what?
Your grandma well, Aunt
father-in-law,
Sarah?
They came for my
I knew her, yeah, I mean, I remember
We
her.
were very close with her.
I
She was
remember.
well like
I
We
us.
should-
visited, I remember she made
I got
rugula.
some good pictures of your mother and your father at my wedding.
Nice.
Well, you know, you can email
I can
them.
run home and get them.
It's okay, take a picture and email them if you can do that.
I can do that. My daughter does that stuff. I don't.
That's
I-
fine.
That's for you young guys.
That's good, though.
Because Arthur was my age.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a daughter that went to the school of.
Oh, my daughter, she graduated. It's a great world today, right? I mean, kids got it real good. Of course, when I was in school, in college, you had Vietnam, so you couldn't do anything, right? It was either, yeah, you know, finish school, and I actually went in the National Guard. But my daughter graduated, took a year off, and then she decided she wanted to go to the Cordon Bleu School of Cooking in Paris. And she went for 6 months.
She made
She's a pastry chef.
How
pastry
exciting.
chef, and she made delicious crawlers.
You gotta meet
Mm-hmm.
this. Eclairs. You gotta meet
Wow.
this kid. She got a lot of balls. She got a lot of chutzpah.
Wow. So did she open a bakery
No,
or?
she just wanted to go to Paris.
Good
And
for
this was a
her.
reason to go to Paris. She paid for it. She had the money.
That's
She
awesome.
did whatever she did.
That's a great
She
story.
baked
Yeah,
manta bread for me.
Are we the same?
for her birthday
We
party.
went to Paris when I turned 50 because my brother Art went to Paris when he turned 40, and
Good
we're
for
going to
him.
have one of them
Yeah,
older
right.
names,
Yep,
older ages.
yep.
You just
We
have
might
one
as well have
child?
fun.
Now, where's your other brother?
He's
Where's Philip?
13.
Where do you go to
Phil
school,
lives in
Miles?
Hagerstown, and
Okay.
next year
Isn't he?
Where?
Which one of you is a lawyer? Or both of you?
Okay.
Phil's a lawyer.
Phil's a
Maryland?
lawyer.
I do IT
That
Okay.
was a great school. That's
for
Great.
right
So
now
you
Northrop
know
Grumman.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Where
The
do you
picture
live?
book with
I live
when they
in
were kids.
Silver
Carol
Spring
has
near
a picture
Washington,
book.
not far from where.
Washington.
Yeah.
And
Can't believe I
I have a neighbor that
Yeah, lives in
Did
Barbara
you know his
Kagan.
dad?
Barbara
I did.
Cement.
He died when Miles was about 2.5, right?
Who was that?
Dad.
Henry.
My dad,
Henry,
yeah.
Hank.
He was 88.
He was.
Ah,
Oh, he
he
was
lived
88.
long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
Mom
they were
and
the
him
same.
used to
They
write
were the
each other
same
every
age.
week. My
And-
mother was very close with Libby.
Mhm.
Dora lived down the street.
And Libby was my, well, yeah, she was my favorite
Everybody's
aunt.
favorite. Everybody loved Libby.
And Charlie. And
Did you know Libby?
I
No.
didn't know any
No,
of them.
no.
she passed.
Libby.
We've been married 20 years, and I know she
That's
passed
it.
before that.
Libby was.
But I did talk to Charlie when we lived in New York for a year. And I
Are
got
you in touch with Arthur Schachter or any
Not
of
a-
those?
Joey
You're in
emailed
touch with Joey?
because Sid emailed Joey when she used to email,
Yeah.
and I knew that Joey knew Art, so I, you know.
I haven't heard from Joey in 50
I
years.
saw Joey at Dave's funeral. That's the last I saw Joey.
You didn't see him when he came for his reunion?
And
He
No.
saw Mom?
No,
Oh,
he didn't
came to
stop.
see-
Did he stop?
Yeah, he did
I didn't
stop.
see him then.
He did stop.
I probably was busy.
I didn't go to my
Joey
high
and I
school
were like
reunion.
this when we
Yeah.
were growing up.
I
And
couldn't
we stay
care
in touch
about
with
that.
Rita and
I spent
Rena.
10 days. I live in New York.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I
Rita,
spent 10
Rita's
days
in
with
Massachusetts, isn't she?
Oh,
Last I
okay.
checked, near Seattle.
It's 100.
Okay, she's
You're
that
both-
far out.
I know.
Where's
Yeah.
Rena?
Rena lives near us in D.C. She
Okay.
lives
So
in-
amazing.
She
So
just
are you
had
in
2
touch
kids.
with her, Rena?
With Rena, yeah.
And Rena's married?
Rena's married.
got two
she
little
has
girls.
2 kids, and she lives
Well,
on
Rita's
Connecticut
what?
Avenue in
Rita
D.C.
is,
About your age.
no,
Rita,
she's
no,
a little
she's
older.
older
A little
than
older,
me.
but
She's about
about.
72, yeah.
Yeah. Where does Rita live?
Rita or Rena? Rita,
her
she's,
mom.
I think, near Seattle.
Myron's
Last I
out
checked.
there, Myron's in
Myron's
Alaska.
Alaska, yeah.
He's
Do you hear
he's-
from him?
No,
No, we
but
don't either.
Miles is named after the same person that Myron's named after, which
Oh,
is the
yeah.
middle name of Arthur.
Arthur?
I think, yeah. Arthur
Myron-
Dabbs.
You mean
Myron's
your
a-
your grandfather?
Yeah,
Myron's an ER doctor in
Yeah.
Alaska.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now somebody lives out in Arizona.
that's
They
my
all
mom's
live-
family.
Oh,
The
sorry.
doctors.
Yeah, I didn't know your mom's
The
family. I knew your
family.
mom's a nice
Yeah.
Oh,
lady.
Kitty was
Kitty was
wonderful,
great.
wonderful to
Yeah,
Penny.
she
Yeah.
lived to be 96.
She was so pretty,
96?
Kitty.
Yeah,
Aw,
she died. Yeah,
Do
she
you know
died the
Kitty?
I did
same,
know
She was
her.
a beautiful lady.
Yeah.
the same year,
Sweet.
within 3
Kitty
weeks
was
of ours.
nice.
Yeah, Kitty. Oh, her family was from Arizona?
Well, no,
No, no, no,
her
no,
sister's sons, or
Uh-huh.
Philip Sachs lives in Arizona. And,
Now, where did Kitty grow up? In Washington?
No,
well,
she-
Rockville.
Rockville,
Rockville,
Maryland.
which
And
is
they
near
met when
Washington.
Henry was in Washington.
No, they met when Dad was in the
Service?
in San Francisco at the Jewish Community Center.
Wasn't he in the Navy, Ma?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
She would know. She was close.
So I have
She knows everything.
I have a lot of
That's amazing.
I have questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's see. First up,
Do you want anything to eat? We have salami
when did you leave
sandwiches.
Oh, no, I
Physic
like it, but
Falls
thank you
and
for offering.
how
You
long?
sure?
Yeah, we
What
did
about
huge
you?
breakfast in,
And Sarah left
I don't
Hoosick
even know where we were,
Falls
Bennington.
probably in
1960.
Well,
70.
no, but I mean you and your brothers,
They didn't grow up at Hoosick Falls.
right? But I know you.
No,
But
we
they were
just
born.
been.
No, they were
Uncle
born-
Lou was, mother
Lou
was
was
born in
born-
Glens
Glens
Falls.
Falls.
Lou was born in Hoosick Falls, and then they moved to Coxsackie. Aunt Sarah stayed in Hoosick Falls.
Yeah.
But they always spent, like Aunt Bertie would go up and stay with Aunt Sarah in Hoosick Falls.
But when did they move to Coxsackie?
Coxsackie?
Yeah.
gotta
I put,
look
by
it
the
up.
way,
She
for
was. You were 2, so it would have been
2, okay.
1918.
19 to
18. You were 2 years old, weren't you, when
Let
you
me
moved?
write it. I'm writing things
Yes.
in the book. Hold
It
on.
was
Well,
That's
that's
1918.
really smart. 'Cause
Yeah.
because
There's one
you
kid.
notice in Wikipedia it says Lou Swire was a prominent person in Hoosick Falls. I put that there. 'Cause
Oh,
it says
really?
that
Yeah.
they can't argue with the New York
Yeah.
Times.
Well,
Right,
Carol
yeah.
is making a documentary of Uncle Lou. So she has the one book where your grandmother, Aunt Sarah, and my grandmother, and my mother's mother was a suffragette. So when they asked me about, I'm very liberal.
Wow.
I'm working on Hillary's
Yes,
campaign.
you are too.
I work at her
Yeah.
headquarters. I've always been
Nice.
political all my life. I worked on Obama's campaigns, but my mother's mother was a suffragette in 1917.
Wow.
And Aunt
That's
Sarah
pretty
was.
amazing.
Now your
Which means
grandmother.
women didn't have the right to vote
No,
then,
but
and they helped change that.
now, your great grandmother was brilliant. You know, she read in English novels. She didn't even have an accent.
Nanny
you know.
or
Your nanny.
yes, right.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah,
recording
she
of
used to
it.
speak to me in Russian.
Well,
Really?
she had
Yeah.
a little bit of an
Das
accent. but-
vidanya, spasiba. And Sarah.
She was so sweet.
Well, she's the one I knew the long out of all my family from both sides.
Yeah, we're very close
From
with Aunt
both
Sarah.
sides,
Us children.
I knew
Yeah,
Aunt
well,
Sarah the best because
Yeah,
she
we
lived
were
the
very
longest.
close with Aunt
Then the other question that Phil wanted to know, Dad lived with his grandfather, Harris, for a while after his father died, which I have the article from Troy, where the car, flipped over on his
Right.
first birthday.
Mhm.
How long did he live with he didn't really, according to Phil, speak, how long did he live with his grandfather? And when did he reunite with
That
his
had to be his
sisters?
father's father.
Yeah,
right?
Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Now the story is, Art's son, Ben, his middle name's Harris, named after him. But apparently Dad would follow his grandfather on a horse, and he'd go to the Polish neighborhoods and they'd feed him Polish wine, and they'd tell Dad to make sure he didn't fall off the horse when he got too ungeschickert.
Really?
See, this I don't know.
Who, Henry?
Yeah, I didn't
Yes,
know.
his grandfather,
Yeah. But his great grandfather died
Great-grand-
very young. You know, they
Right.
were all in a car accident.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he lived with
His
the
name was
grandfather.
Arthur Levine?
Yeah, his father.
Yeah.
And the grandfather's name Harris. And
I
didn't-
didn't know that.
Harris.
Harris was like he would follow Harris. I guess he was like he had a horse that sold goods, pots and pans,
Right.
and he would follow him, on the horse sometimes because he'd go to the Polish neighborhoods and they'd give him wine, and he would. They were worried he'd
In
fall off his horse.
1918, they moved to Coxsackie?
Yeah. And they moved in 1932.
How
They
long
moved
did he
over.
live with his grandfather? And
All the time. time.
Till he went to college?
No, even when he went to college.
He
Who's
lived
that,
with his
Henry?
grandfather?
He lived with his grandfather. He
Oh, wow.
got-
Where was Aunt
got in
Sarah?
Where's your family from?
touch with,
The they're
grandfather.
from central New Mexico and Texas.
kept in
Oh,
touch
wow.
with
Yeah.
grandfather.
Well, you
yeah,
don't speak
Great.
with an
that
accent.
time.
I don't.
So grandfather
people from
lived
New
a long
Mexico
time
don't really
on the
have
side.
much of
Right.
an accent.
Not that
Yeah.
Texas
I've
I've
drawl.
never been
Yeah.
to New Mexico.
I've been,
Oh, it's
I've
really
been through, I've been
pretty.
I've
through
been to
Mexico.
Arizona,
Yeah.
not New Mexico.
So south of Albuquerque.
Uh-huh.
He
Nice.
left,
So
left when
and then
he died.
we moved to Texas
left
when we were
10
school age because there
Yeah.
were
Where in
very many
Texas?
to
opportunities.
his wife.
Dallas Fort Worth area,
Mhm.
so north central Texas.
Yeah.
Didn't
I like
get
Texas.
along.
Yeah.
Right,
I
I
had
saw
friends
the
in
picture.
Texas.
Oh, you did?
They look like they
moved
get
to
along.
Texas,
What
but I
part
used
of
to
They
go to
didn't get
Austin.
along.
He
Oh,
didn't get
Four
along.
times to Austin.
His grandfather and
And I love
grandmother,
San Antonio.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
which is
Well,
probably
have you
why
ever
they
taken
he
your
drank
son
the
to
wine.
San Antonio?
Yeah,
We've
right.
taken
On the
him
horseback.
to San Antonio. We go quite frequently to the
Your-
to Fort Worth.
your
because I've got
father-
a
San
couple of
Antonio is one of the
brothers.
most beautiful
With
cities in
me.
the world.
Yeah, yeah, it is nice.
They wondered
The food
why
is
we
good.
weren't.
And Austin's one of the
School.
prettier parts of
Played
Texas
football.
too, in the valley.
It's beautiful.
And that was probably to make sure his father was okay
Yeah.
on the horse.
Whose father was that on the horse?
My dad lived with the grandfather after the accident.
Oh, he lived.
Initially, they lived at the Miller house, but
They had a Millers.
We know the Millers. We
Well,
used to
they're all
visit the
dead
Millers.
now.
They're all dead now, but we visited
I
the
didn't
Millers
know,
till
I didn't
recently.
know them all. Who was living when we would go up there? Which one of the?
Joe.
No, Joe and Louie were there, and there was a sister, but I can't remember
What was
which
his
one.
sister's name?
Rose,
Rose, oh Rose, right. And
We
who
used
were
to
the
go to
other
Miller
two?
House.
Dora.
Wow. We tried to
And
get in there,
Sadie.
but
Oh.
they're closed on Monday.
And Dora and
Well,
Sadie.
Now, did you just drive from Hoosick Falls?
Yes.
well, we went to Boston
We've
Oh,
looked
because
at
okay.
it's
Boston.
$49 to go from DC to Boston on Spirit Airlines,
Oh,
Okay,
and
wow.
we drove
You can see
from
anything.
Boston to
What time did you start out?
well, the plane left at 6:30 in the morning. But
Today?
every single
No,
hotel in Albany
Friday,
and
Saturday.
everywhere is booked. But we found probably a place in what was the name?
Wilmington.
Wilmington, Vermont,
Vermont.
which is so pretty.
beautiful.
Oh, it's
Yes.
stunning.
Well,
Absolutely beautiful.
I don't know where.
Next,
Like
next to
Boston,
Bennington,
Miles.
20 miles
Miles,
from
did you
Bennington.
like
East?
Boston?
East, yeah.
You go through
What's your favorite? Are
Wilmington
you into sports?
to get to any place.
You gotta
What's
your
try, it's
favorite
between Brattleboro and Bennington.
Yeah.
I don't remember it because I never go that way. We used to ski up in
It is
Manchester.
so pretty. Manchester's neat too.
You like them all?
But
You have
Wilmington's a little
football
quaint
team?
town. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The Redskins?
Listen, are you hungry?
No, we just
Ravens.
ate. We had this huge
Now, where did you go
Vermont
to college?
I went to Hopkins, just like
Oh, you went
Lou.
to get the
Mhm.
trans? Oh, that's.
Lou
traditional.
Flyer was a
He
alumni
got
there.
he got all the brains in the family.
Oh my
Well-
God, Johns Hopkins is a good school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First went
okay.
to Towson, which is in Baltimore. You know, just because it was
Right.
far enough away, but
Right.
still close. And
That's you could go there, Miles. Johns Hopkins.
it's not a bad
You
school.
would-
It's a
The
wonderful
teachers were
school.
better at Towson because,
Really?
yeah, it was originally a teacher's college, so they knew how to teach. At Hopkins, they had very smart
And
people.
what did you do, Elian?
IT.
You did IT.
Yeah, but Hopkins is a top school.
I worked in IT as a librarian.
Hopkins is a real
But
top
I
school.
w-
Yeah. Were you a
I can
programmer
say-
like Paul?
My son was. I don't know if he
Programmer
was gonna
and
apply there, but he
network
never did.
administrator, and at one
Went to
point
NYU,
did.
I worked with all
And
the
now he's
network
at
people.
Michigan
I was a
in graduate
librarian with
school.
network people.
But he
But
thought
I
of
work in,
Hopkins,
you
but
know, I could talk about, now that it's declassified in the intelligence community, I coordinated with the program that helped catch Saddam Hussein back
Oh,
in
did
the
you
day.
really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's great.
Made some calls so that they could send a 15 megabyte, this was when he was born, 15 megabyte file from NGA and NSA, which is the
Right.
map people and the other people to know
Oh,
where he was
exciting.
there. So I was there on Sundays because everything's 24/7 covered. But made people call, talk to my counterpoints and say, we need
Our other
you,
brothers
like
are-
your
we need to
father?
send this file, and they said, yeah, and that's what got, where they found them. So that was my claim to, IT. But before that, we lived in New York, in Jersey City.
Oh, in Jersey City. I worked
We
in
lived there
Jersey
for-
City.
yeah, we
at
lived there for a
Harborside
year.
Financial Center for 13
Which
years.
used to be Payne Weber, right?
No, Payne Weber was in Weehawken.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I was there for a while.
Where was the the
We were there for a
building
Did
year.
you
that
work
was
in your, were you
shut
working there?
down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was the building that was shut down?
The
Oh,
World Trade
That's the
Center.
World
That
Trade
was the
Center. That was
I
in New
was in the
York.
World Trade Center. I didn't go,
Thank
I
God
didn't,
you're
I wasn't
okay.
there that day. I went to vote in the Democratic primary and saved my life.
And not knowing Unix saved my life because I applied for a job there and didn't get it.
Oh, wow.
And since then, I never feel bad
Yeah,
about
right,
not getting
yeah.
the job that I
Yeah.
applied for.
Right.
But it was in
What
the 100.
company was it?
It was AON 101st
Oh,
floor.
AO1, they all died?
Yes, they did. And
Hey, nobody died in your group.
No. Oh, yeah, people I know, but they had moved to other companies.
Right.
But Anna worked
Two
for
people.
U.S. Airways and guided the planes to land.
No, I didn't actually guide them. It was sort of.
But she looked for names like Atta, Mohammed, and
Yeah, so I was working, of course, I was in the airline industry
Yeah.
for 15 years, and
Mm.
so at headquarters, Bristol City, during 9/11, and we'd never gotten planes on the ground before. I mean, that was, so we had to figure out where all the planes were at headquarters, and then they landed all over the planet, and then we
Get
had real
down.
problems getting people back home, and,
Right.
and
That
anyway,
was-
and then
that
the
was
feds
something.
descend, and they give you the list of
Yeah.
people. And if we found a Mohammed or something and they weren't on the list, the Fed said, put them on the list. So they weren't all civil liberties.
so Dad
Then they
lived.
made us
You
all
were,
get
you were
on
on the
Dad
front
lived
lines.
with his grandfather all the way
and
through
then they made us
college.
all get on
You and
airplanes
Elliot.
and
He didn't
fly.
live with his mom and her
So-
Yeah.
sisters.
The public would think it was
His mom
safe.
and his sisters.
Where did Aunt Sarah live? With the sisters. But you used to go to
No,
Hoosier
Aunt
Falls.
Sarah lived, she had the dry goods store.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of it and where was it located? What was
Way
what,
after my time. Way
what
before
street
my
did
time.
they live on?
Madison.
No, no, that
That
was
was
your
in
street.
Albany.
That was in Albany. You said Center Street in Hoosick Falls.
Center Street.
Oh, in Hoosick Falls, Center
Let me
Street.
write it down.
I'm getting it.
Oh, you
I
got
only
it?
knew the Miller House.
So Sarah and the sisters lived on Center Street. Where did the grandparents live, or do you remember that?
The grandparents lived, I don't remember the name of the street, but you could go through there by railroad tracks.
Okay, I know where the train is.
And they lived where
So
the
long as
train
you know
went
how long
by
it's been since I've been to Hoosick
on
Falls?
Center
I've
Street.
never, I don't think I've ever been.
Oh, it's really
Hoosick Falls
I
is
think
very close.
81. It is. It's just, well, it's close. It's a pain in the butt to
Tell
get
them
there.
about Aunt Sarah, how she came here and what she did
Because,
when she came here.
because, yeah.
Who's
she's
that?
talk- No, that's Mary
Elise.
talking. Mary's talking on the telephone.
So tell her about Aunt Sarah, how she
Hoosick
got here.
Falls is because there's a lot of traffic. You go right over Route 7. It'll take you to Hoosick Falls.
So Aunt Sarah, was it like an
Yeah.
arranged marriage? How did they all get here?
They,
How
Aunt
did they-
Sarah came first.
she,
There was a cousin, wasn't there, in Glens Falls? You told me that she worked for the cousin, and they treated her like a slave.
yeah.
She was the maid. She was cleaning the house
Yes.
for the room and board, and they treated her like a slave.
Wow.
And my grandmother came by herself. On
And the best story-
Lusitania.
Seal, right?
And the best story was
I
Aunt
have-
Frida. Aunt Frida got out late, and
Oh,
she
really?
She came by way of
China,
Japan,
Did she have the 3 boys or just the 1 boy?
the one boy.
She had Lou.
Did you know Aunt Frida? No.
No,
I
no.
knew of her.
I only met her once.
I know her.
When she was an 80-year-old woman.
Wow.
Very from, really Orthodox.
Came to the U.S. by way of China?
Japan.
Japan.
Imagine that.
Wow, and she came with small children?
1.
So you're living in New York now, or
Yeah, I've been in New York for 38 years.
the city, or Brooklyn?
No, I'm right in the city, 14th Street between 1st and 2nd.
Oh,
I have a-
Oh, we lived over the,
I
I
have
did
a-
sublet with, in
in
Stuyvesant
Stuyvesant.
Town.
Oh, I live right near there. Oh, it's a shame.
She's right around the
Well,
corner.
it's
I'm right
small.
It's a half a
I-
block.
I have a studio apartment with a huge garden
Nice.
that I rent, and I've been there, and all the kids stay with me. One of my cousin's sons lived with me for a year and a half. What?
Wow.
With Lou Dickman?
Can't
Lou
believe
was
Yeah,
the
Lou.
oldest?
Dickman,
Lou's the
yeah.
oldest.
I have that family tree that
the Dickman was
Right.
the oldest.
Oh,
one in
give
the
me your
Dickman.
email because I have another family tree that Jonathan Earl.
What we
Uncle
were at,
Lou's
we were at
grandson.
Harriet's wedding, Harriet Hilsenroth, and yeah, I was 18, so that's 50 years ago. So it's
Yeah.
1966.
Have you stayed in touch with Harriet at all, or?
No.
She came here once and drove everybody crazy.
Oh.
She's nuts, and her husband is nuttier.
Yeah.
Now Danny talks to Stevie.
Danny White is
Danny
very
White
close
is
with
close with
Stevie
Stevie,
Hilsenroth.
right? And Estelle,
Stevie is the brother of Harriet.
right?
Yes.
Stevie's her
And they
age.
had another son that
Arthur.
passed,
Arthur
was
was
best-
my best friend.
Kenny's best
and
friend.
He died of brain cancer at
Yeah.
13. I don't like to go there.
Yeah, but I didn't know the name.
Yes, Arthur.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how very
Didn't know the
tragic.
name.
So young.
And
We used to stay at Libby's all the time.
all the time.
And Libby lived in Florida, and Dad would visit
Right.
them a lot then, and she would tug on my cheek and call me deliciousness.
Oh,
Yeah.
Libby. Oh God. I think
Libby
Libby
was-
treated all of her cousins and nephews better than she treated her own kids. I really do.
Did you
I
know
never
Libby?
heard a bad word
No.
from Libby. And
Oh, Libby was wonderful.
I'll tell you what. My cousin Stevie
love
Swire,
Libby.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, worked for Lou, and Dora was the bookkeeper for Lou Swire.
Okay.
Dora ran the, and Lou, back, whatever Dora said about money, she handled it, right?
Yeah.
Stevie was scared of Dora.
We loved
Nobody
Dora.
was scared
Yeah, I
of
met
Dora.
Dora a couple
Kenny and I
Dora
loved Dora.
was the
I was
best.
very close with Dora.
And Dora treated Martha and I and my brother Paul better than she treated Kelly and Arthur.
Really?
I used to
Honestly,
spend all my
when we were
Saturdays
little kids,
with Dora.
and the Good Humor Man, now I'm going back to the early 50s, right?
I
And the
love
Good
Dora.
Humor Man would come around the ice cream truck. She gave us
remember we went to her house.
What,
It's
you
right down
crazy?
the street.
Yeah,
would give us
she would have
Aw.
a bunch of hard candy.
Yeah, she always had
Now,
her candy.
when-
She used to give me
when my-
coffee all the time. We used to
When
drink
her
coffee
brother
on
Paul
Saturdays
was
Wow.
younger,
and chat.
right?
Dora was
got
my
married.
pal.
I remember
Everybody went
Dave.
away. Like the
Mhm.
whole family did. Everybody. And Martha and I were the two oldest on that side of the family, so we got to stay. All our little cousins had to go because Seal had been sick,
There was,
and they had to go home.
No, we
And
always
Dora's
had a
teaching me how to do
Thanksgiving at
polka, making
Uncle
me
George's,
dizzy.
so I don't think you
Dora
were
was
born
always
yet.
teaching
no,
me how to-
but I remember there was someone that
With
lived around
Philip
the corner
and-
from Dora. I think it was Wolberg. His last name was Wolberg.
No,
No.
Someone lived
Oh
around
yeah,
the corner.
Avondale.
He had two
Oh.
dogs and
no,
No,
2 hounds, and he had raisins in his cupboard. And
no.
no,
might have been across from Sidell. No, it was
No.
Dora.
no.
Within,
Dell lived over on Leedale Street, down by
Who did?
Sid
Oh,
Freibush
Sid Freibush.
lived on Leedale Street.
Did you know Sid Freibush at all?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she gave me some vitamin C, and Mom had a fit. It was a chewable
Really?
kind.
Yeah.
But-
Myron and I grew up together.
But she was like, you know,
Myron's
she was into
beautiful.
vitamins and
Yeah.
all that stuff before it became, you know, in vogue.
Uh-huh.
But she did carry it. I mean, Art would show me all the letters she'd write him, and she'd write on the sides because she'd run out of space, but didn't want to use another sheet of paper.
And Philip's the middle one.
Right, fill some in, and she would say something like, you know, potatoes can kill you. That would be the first
Now,
line.
she was nuts.
She was nuts.
She was Looney Tunes.
My mother stopped talking to me.
But
Well, what
Art
happened?
liked the letters because they were entertaining
What
to
happened
him.
was Dora died, and
My
Aunt
God,
Sarah
too.
got infirm. She had broken her shoulder and her hip, and the only living daughter she had was Sid. Libby was still alive, I think,
Mhm.
but Libby was in New York. Sid, here's
Yeah,
an Orthodox woman, put her in the Albany County nursing home instead of the Jewish home.
Did they really?
That was Bernie. Bernie was as tight as a clam.
Yeah. They put
Remember
Aunt Sarah
that.
in the Albany. How long was Aunt Sarah there for?
About a year, maybe.
Mm. Aunt Sarah lived alone on apartments.
Yeah, I remember visiting her. They
Yeah,
had
we
a
used to
cord.
visit her. We call her Aunt
well,
Sarah.
I used
She was
to-
your grandma.
I-
Yeah, Nanny is what I called her.
Yeah, I used to work around the corner. from
Nanny.
her. And I used to go
It was
there
a
for
big,
lunch.
tall
I was
building,
a teenager.
Yeah.
and she was like on the
that's
top
nice.
floor.
Yeah.
Now that was after.
Yeah, that's how I
She lived
remember
across
visiting
the
her.
street first.
Yeah,
And as I was telling your wife, I used to work around the corner for my father. She lived on Morton Avenue, and 3 blocks over is Alexander Street. And I used to go to her apartment for lunch. That's how close we were.
We were very close.
I
with her.
remember
She
she
used to take me to the movies when
And she
I was
made-
a little girl.
made rugula, I
Yeah.
think.
Did she make rugula?
Yeah,
I
rugula
love
when we
rugula.
visited. Yeah,
Uh,
and I remember she said
Very
she
close.
wished she could take me like to the zoo and out like the other. You
And she
know,
was
Aunt
kosher.
Sarah was.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
My
Was
mom
she
didn't
showing
like her so
us?
much.
Oh yeah.
Your mom didn't like her?
Yeah, I don't think they got along because I think when she was having Art or Phil, she gained too much weight and she thought there was something wrong with her. And,
Aunt Sarah said that?
yeah.
Yeah. Aunt Sarah would. That's how they are. They tell it like it is. They don't mix
No
any,
filter.
but they're all like that.
Yep, yep.
Dora was like that. My
Mhm.
mother's like that.
The only two I didn't know, I didn't really know my grandmother. She died when I was
Yeah,
5.
I knew my grandmother a little.
And I didn't know Aunt Frida. Uncle George? Who did I know Uncle George? And he married a nut. She was certifiable.
But you loved Aunt Sylvia.
She was a penny.
I loved Aunt
They
Sylvia.
came up here for her to die.
Well, she could jumped in the river that one time.
She came up
yeah.
here and she tried to commit suicide here
Yeah.
in Albany.
George was up in the middle. They were driving around Albany trying to find her.
There was someone on my dad's side, my dad's father's side.
So we didn't know any of them.
Yeah. Mary, I think her name was like my
On
dad's
the
father's
Levine
brother.
side,
Yeah, that was dating a married guy and
They
a
have
doctor.
2 girls.
Yeah, 2 girls.
George has 2 girls, Jennifer and
Danny.
No,
had
Danny.
to go.
Danny. Yeah.
Danny.
Danny's got, yeah.
And what's the name of
Pam and
Pam and
Jen.
Jennifer.
Pam and Jennifer.
It's a big family. And this house was like the center.
This was a
Everybody
hotel,
came here.
everybody was coming.
All the Swires came here. All from New York, they came here. Not Aunt Frida. Because when Lou Dickman came here, we'd only eat from the garden with paper
But
plates.
boy, he wanted to see us. We were the first people he wanted to
Really?
see. Yep. He was.
I
He
don't
was.
remember
He was.
Itchy.
I don't remember Itchy. He was a carbon copy, Uncle George.
Really?
Lou Dickman was that nice. But I remember at Harriet's wedding. It's
I didn't go
funny.
to
Now it's
Harriet's
funny
wedding.
now. Was Sharon is Lou's daughter, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Lou Dickman's
Okay,
daughter.
so Sharon's my age, or a year
Right.
older, give or take, right? These are Orthodox, right? And the men were up on a stage. This is at the reception now, singing, right? And Sharon, every time they played a song, had to walk out. She wasn't allowed to see the men dance with the women, but she could sit at our table. That was Sharon.
They lived in Muncie, didn't they? Don't they
Well,
live
she
in
does
Muncie?
now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if Lou's wife is Miriam still alive or not?
I don't know.
You haven't
I
heard.
don't know.
I would have thought Sharon would have written you
Haven't heard.
because she used to write to Sharon.
No, my mother and Henry used to
Mm-hmm.
write to each other all the time.
They used to speak on the phone till he
Yeah,
went
they
to
were
nursing
great
home
ones.
every week.
Really?
Wow.
Every week.
Did come across a lot of letters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they used to
Beautiful
write all the
handwriting.
Did you know Henry?
I did.
He's a sweet man.
Yeah.
He was the greatest.
Was he the baby?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Libby was the oldest,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then Dora.
And then Sid.
Right.
It's a good
She
family.
had 3 girls
Yeah.
and then a
Really?
boy.
They all went to college, according to my
Everybody went to college.
Dora went to Ryder, and Libby went to. Where did Libby stay when she came up here to go to teachers
dad.
college?
Teachers, yeah, she was a teacher.
Did she stay with you
No, she stayed in
in,
the
in the dorms or a rooming house?
rooming house.
She graduated from teachers college? They all went to college. And where did your father go to college?
He went to Cornell, but
Oh,
he
he's
first went to NYU.
Oh, Henry
He was
was
a bright
brilliant.
guy.
Everybody
He
said Henry
got the
was
only
the smartest.
scholarship there was, I think.
Yeah,
To
he was the
Cornell.
smartest.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
Henry.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he was a lawyer for the government forever, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
Social Security.
Yeah.
And he started.
Well, let's face it. I
What
mean,
would we do without? I'm on Social Security. I'd be
Dora
lost
and,
without
and
Social
Libby.
Security.
I don't know about Sid because Sid was nuts, but Dora was brilliant.
Yeah.
Joey's
Joey.
on another
First.
level.
Yeah, he's a doctor, right?
Well, he's
No,
a
no,
PhD,
PhD.
but you know he's fluent in 7 languages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know he wrote
And
he wrote the command module, the
NASA?
manual for Apollo.
Really?
Joey,
yeah.
Joey
worked
went
in
to
Houston and he
Joey
burned
went to
out.
Union, and then he got then he got a Case Western. He went to Case Western after Union for graduate school, and it was Vietnam, so he's going to get drafted, right? So he went to NASA. He went to work for NASA in Houston. He got a fellowship in mathematics from Rice. Now let me tell you something. Rice is one of the hardest schools to get into in the country. Rice is a tough school, and then he worked for NASA. But after
He burned
NASA,
out.
Well, after
He said he
NASA,
burned out at
well, he could have.
NASA.
He became a professor of language at the University of Hawaii.
Yeah,
Oh, is he a
been
professor of
Hawaii.
He was a
languages?
professor of Hawaii, a
In
language at
Hawaii.
the University of Hawaii.
He lives in Hawaii.
Well, that's
Joe.
where he
Right.
met his wife.
And I've
Carrie.
emailed him.
Yeah. Joey's a good guy. I like Joey. And Joey,
Well,
and
I
I-
always was in,
when
under
I
a
was in
shadow,
high
so I always
school
had a compliment.
and after high school, and
Always
Joey was still
compared to
here,
him.
we were close.
Wow.
Joey's 6 months older than Martha.
Would you like some cookies? Some
Joey-
nice cookies? You
Joey
tried mine?
actually-
You don't want anything?
I had a big breakfast.
What?
I
We
Yeah,
had
breakfast?
pancakes with Vermont maple syrup in Vermont.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I
It tastes so
love
much
Vermont
different than
maple
The
Vermont
last
maple
time I
syrup.
saw Joey
in the
was at
store.
Dave's
You had
funeral.
pancakes?
He looked just like Dave. He was a carbon copy. I thought Dave was walking in the door.
Wow.
Now, when Joey moved to Hawaii, Dave still lived down here. So my mother really took care of Dave all those years.
Right. When he got sick that time, he had surgery and he was wandering around the streets. And,
Oh, boy.
you know, but he was. Dave lived what, the '96?
Mhm.
Dave's family.
Yeah,
How
he was
old
a
were
while.
Dave's parents when
99.
they were in
I
their
think.
90s, weren't they?
Yes.
And
I knew his
and I know
family.
Dave's
Oh.
brother is still living, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
The uncle?
I don't know.
Wow.
I'd have to look up Jack Shacker.
Dave is Dora's husband.
Husband.
Wonderful family.
No words.
From Florida. Well, they weren't originally from Florida. Were they?
Who?
Rome. They were from Rome,
Rome,
New York.
Actually, I think
I remember them so well.
Dave's parents were from Canada and they moved to Rome.
Rome, New York.
Right. Weren't they from Canada and they moved to Rome?
Yes.
And wasn't Irene his brother?
Their
His sister?
Yes.
Hmm.
His
My mother was
sister.
close with Irene and that.
So Danny was there. She was close to
I
Danny.
stayed at Irene's
Danny
house.
White,
so-
the other.
No, I'm
Sorry.
talking Danny Shacker. Danny
Shacker.
White's the other cousin. That's Uncle George's son. He was just here. Danny's 83.
Yeah, 83.
I'm close to Danny. I'm real close to Danny.
George. So Uncle George's son would have been the equivalent. Well, George was. Okay.
You don't want coffee or anything like that?
Her-
Oh, I'm fine,
wait.
but thank you for
George
Anne,
and
right?
Seal
Anna?
and
Yes.
No.
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay,
All right.
Sarah
And
and
Frida.
Danny. And Danny
I'm
was
fine,
the
but
son.
thank
Danny
you.
was the son of
Danny
George.
White,
Right.
I think.
which
We'll be
was really
fine.
Biala, which is Polish for white.
Yeah, Biala.
Just had
I
that
have,
part.
we have grandma's thing from Ellis Island. I couldn't
wow.
find my grandfather's. I can send it to you. Oh, it didn't come out. Jonathan found it, but we have a picture of the boat
My mother came over on
from
the
Dublin.
Blessed 30th.
She came by herself. She lied about her age. She was
Right.
15.
She,
Oh my gosh, how
that,
brave.
that
They
ship
were all brave
stopped
to leave
at
your.
They
Ireland.
all got a
So
lot of
bad.
Must
balls.
have been at Ireland.
It was so bad. They never told us
Because-
stories about the old country ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one
Sarah.
thing.
She told
They
you.
never-
She told me about her grandfather.
Really? What
Yeah.
did she say
He
about
died in a pogrom. She said they kept hitting him
it?
with
Was
a
her
brick.
father.
Was her father? Was
It
it her
was her
father or
father.
grandfather?
Father.
Father. He
Are
was
you
6'6".
That's who Uncle Lou was named for.
Yeah.
Are you live?
He was 6'6". He said they kept hitting him with a brick.
Now, I went with Jonathan Earl to Yivo, and they had all the list of all the people that died in Vilna, and we couldn't find his name.
So he might not have been in Vilna.
They did, they did
was
live in
in
Vilna.
Vilna.
Because
Okay.
my grandfather came from a small town.
No, I was looking for Are You Live.
Yeah.
We couldn't find it.
You know who you'd have to ask if he's even still living? I don't think he is. He's Eli Grad.
He's not living.
He's not living.
How were you related to him?
He's a cousin. He wrote the book. It's all in Hebrew. He wrote the book of the family tree, dated it back to the 1500s,
So how
1600s.
come we don't have that book?
She's got it someplace here, but it's
No,
in
she
Hebrew. I
doesn't.
can't read it.
And then
Yeah, she had it.
there were also, I think, I saw Dickmans that were in the Holocaust too.
Oh, I'm sure, but I don't.
Two of them. Yeah, I saw it. What Sid sent me, like a family tree, showed one was 4 and one was 80.
I don't know.
But it puts like at least
The only one I knew
an
There's a
ancestor's
lot of them,
name.
but
from
that
my
was on my
grandfather's
grandfather's
family,
side.
my grandmother's family from my father's side. She had a sister who was blind. She never got out of Poland.
Oh, she didn't?
Nope.
Who was her sister?
The
She
only
died
other
in the
one,
Holocaust?
the only other one I knew from my grandma Wolberg was Uncle Zalman.
Right.
I'm
But
still
you
kind
wrote
of,
on
I'm still
nieces
kind
and-
of shocked
She
that my
saved
dad
pennies
lived
to
with
write her
his
nieces
grandfather,
and-
but I guess that's why he
It's amazing.
Yeah, so he came back from World War II and still stayed with his grandparents.
Grandparents.
Yeah, my father. With Harris and his wife.
World War II.
Were they Harris Levine, was her name?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that, Mom?
Yeah.
yeah, Harris. And
He's
then,
big in the Coast Guard. I have a bracelet of all the battles he served in,
hmm
and it's gone.
But yeah,
And
my brother
I
has,
have a coin
has
woman
medals.
that took it.
But
Oh,
he was in the Philippines and I think Brazil. There's a few of them. And so an
you don't
invasion of
think
Sicily.
and they never talked about it. I never heard a World War II story from anybody.
Yeah, Dad was in
So,
the invasion of Sicily and
your
the Philippines.
father-
Who was in the invasion of Sicily?
Yeah,
Did he get wounded?
no, but he was like a radar operator.
And he
And,
drew maps. He's got some hand-drawn maps that Phil has,
Mm-hmm.
right.
and it's on like vellum paper and
What he said Which-
radar frequencies or something.
is that someone on the boat, the Japanese were diving, trying to attack the boat, and someone wondered if a grenade would explode underwater, and they found out that it did,
It did.
and saved the boat's life. So that's, I remember that story. But,
Unbelievable.
and he was under
Tonight's the
Nimitz.
presidential debate.
Yeah,
You gotta listen to it.
yeah, I mean, I think Trump's in
Boring.
trouble, and that's a good thing.
He's in big
Thank
trouble.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he opens his mouth.
He's in trouble.
I think when his own people don't, I mean,
Yeah,
his
right.
own people don't want
But
him.
you know, no one said anything. They all, when he said these things about women, but when he said all the racist things, that was all right.
Yeah.
About Mexicans and everybody, it was terrible.
Look
He was
whose
such a
biggest
racist-
support is the KKK and
Yeah.
the Aryan Nations
Terrible.
and all those guys.
Well, the country's really divided. It's almost shocking.
And
It's very divided.
I don't know. If you're Jewish, I don't know how you could vote for it.
I know a Jewish man who's 90 who's going to vote for Trump.
Well,
And you should see all the crap he sends me about Obama and Hillary.
well,
Yeah, right.
He lost his only son in the World Trade Center. But
So
still,
it's so that's Bush's fault. What's his name, Obama?
he blames Obama for everything.
Of
you know,
course.
and then we go to, there's a show in Myrtle Beach, and
Really?
you know, we have two we got a condo. My brother
Where
Phil's
do
going to
you
be with
live?
it. We live in
In
Silver
Silver
Springs, but we have,
Silver Springs.
yeah, but
Do you
we,
work in Washington?
Virginia.
Nobody works
You're
in Washington.
retired.
No, I'm going
Actually-
to in 5 years, hopefully.
Oh, good.
After
My
he goes
son
to
was
college.
when my son
All
was-
right.
September,
16.
we pretty much
He was
have.
a high school wrestler, so we went to a tournament in Virginia Beach, and I was going to show him Georgetown University because I go to some stuff. Well, you got 12 miles outside of Washington, and you didn't move, and you didn't move, and you didn't move.
Can't
And
go
I
the
said,
speed limit on the.
and I yeah,
Road.
and I
Oh,
said,
traffic's so bad.
Oh, Washington's the worst. The
That's
worst.
pretty bad.
My sister-in-law, my wife's sister, lives in Maryland,
Rockland.
Rockland, or Rockville.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
It's
near
just
us.
minutes from
And
us.
we went to their daughter's bat mitzvah the first time, and man, I had to get out.
Did
I
he have
just-
his bar
I
mitzvah
can't take
yet?
that traffic. It's worse
You
than New
can
York.
take the train.
It's
What?
worse
Not yet,
than-
no.
Not yet.
Yeah,
He's gonna have his bar
Yeah,
mitzvah
I
at the
know.
Little
But
Snow.
from Albany, it's a pain in the neck. Now you gotta go to New York, and then you gotta take the
Does he go to
Acela,
Hebrew
and it's,
school?
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we didn't stay too long, and then we went down again. But she doesn't speak to that sister anyway. So.
Oh well, you're welcome to come and visit us
Okay.
if you
I like
give it-
Washington. It's
if you
actually
give it
I love
another try.
yeah,
I love Washington.
very
Well-
nice city.
I
Come on
think
down.
My
Washington,
mother's
D.C.
family, called it the land of gold, and I think, my mother was originally from Rockville, and they said it took an hour to get to Washington by horse, and it's still an hour to get to
Still
Washington by
Washington
car.
by car, yeah.
That doesn't change, right?
And that's a whole nother story too.
I mean, Sunday morning you're on the Beltline,
Yeah.
and it's wall-to-wall traffic. At 9 o'clock Sunday morning, it's wall-to-wall traffic.
So you go to Myrtle Beach for this
Yeah.
winter?
Yeah, we,
Philip has a place there?
oh no, I have two places there, and Phil's gonna be living in one of them when he retires.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's funny.
Did you get hit by the hurricane?
Not bad.
I don't think so.
They, some of the,
Yeah, they said it
some of the
wasn't
piers
as
are
bad.
bad, but,
Yeah.
There might be
I
some
like
trees
it better
down.
than Florida. I hate
I,
Florida.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think
I
so.
hate Florida.
Me too. I have a long,
Too
you
many
know,
old
Hated it.
people
I
in
couldn't go
Florida.
to Florida for anything.
yeah, my dad
well, I love
retired.
winter.
My
so.
dad retired early there, and I didn't
To
like.
Florida?
Yeah,
Now, where did he retire?
Cocoa Beach.
Cocoa Beach,
Beach.
right.
He was there for 5 years, and it
But that's
was-
up by Cape Canaveral, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes. You're
Now,
from-
I didn't
How
like.
old was he when you said he retired early? huh?
Yeah, 56
Oh, he was 56 when he
Wow.
retired.
from the government when you could do that back then.
And your mother lived down there?
She walked the beach. She watched the baseball games on TV. Didn't really.
Did
Too
she
much.
like baseball?
He
he
did,
did.
yeah.
He did.
Was, yeah.
I do too. What was his team?
I think. Well, he would take Art and sometimes me to the Orioles. I lived in Baltimore because went to
Yeah.
school there.
Right.
So we would all meet up to see the O's play.
Right.
Cal Ripken.
Right.
I went to an Orioles game in
You went to Johns
1963
Mm.
with my father.
I'm a Mets.
First game I ever took him
Graduated.
to.
It's, wow.
First and last.
Sentimental.
Wow, 30 years ago I graduated.
I'm a Mets fanatic. Die hard. I haven't been to the new stadium though. It's too expensive to go to a
Oh my
ball
gosh,
game.
yeah.
That's the problem.
These flowers are beautiful. They were
Thank
so
you.
sweet. They're gorgeous.
I went
Those
to a,
are
I went to a
street
football
market.
game.
Yeah,
at
that's
my
why I
alma
love
mater.
Clark Street.
Yeah.
Lived to be
Oh,
We
yeah,
love
100.
Clark
it-
Street.
it was
Yeah,
like
that's
beautiful.
That's our
summer.
favorite flower market.
Yeah.
You're still here.
Kenny did everything.
But yeah, they have.
No, Elise did everything.
Elise did everything.
Elise did everything. She got the food. All I did was pay for it. I told her what I wanted. Go do it.
She brought my mother caviar with her own money. Good granddaughter. She's working this weekend. She works all the time.
Yeah,
She's
she's dog
the
sitting.
media coordinator for the New York State Assembly, a Democratic assembly. We're all
She
Democrats.
works.
Your
She's not
family
the
Democrat?
media coordinator. She works.
If I voted Republican, I'd get disowned. It's
Yes.
the only thing I could do.
Yeah, no, I get that. I had an aunt that somebody whispered thought they
What
voted
else did you
Republican,
want?
and when she died, they're
Oh,
like,
Henry.
who's going to come to her funeral? And I'm like, how do you even know that
Yeah,
she voted
her-
Republican? Nobody
Some of her
knows.
relatives
It's a
live in
terrible rumor.
Texas, and
Right.
they're
Right.
very
Right.
extreme, but I get to see it.
Kenny,
I'll get it. No. This was
Yeah, and then Sid kept Bernie alive.
I have to
for
get your
11
email,
years.
Ellie, and I'll keep you
Yeah,
on the
Martin's
family
now.
email.
Really?
Yeah, just to get a state
I'll
pension.
keep in touch with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hello?
remember you had Parkinson's in
Yeah.
good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elliot's here. We're all talking and he's recording everything. And he looks exactly like his father. I mean, exactly.
It's got to be Carol.
It's Aunt Bertie.
Oh, it's Aunt
You
Bertie.
want a picture? Oh, can you take a picture?
Sure.
You take a picture of
Yeah.
Elliot.